Once upon a time, there was a wolf who went out into the woods to hunt for his family. When in the woods, he suddenly heard baby noises coming from a bush, and sure enough, there he was, a little baby, hidden in the bushes. The wolf was so surprised to see a little baby all alone, and decided to rescue the baby and keep him safe. And not a moment too soon, because a tiger named Shere Khan was searching for the lost baby for lunch. The mother wolf and her cubs loved this little baby very much. "I think his name should be Mowgli," said Mother Wolf. And so, Mowgli started to live with his new wolf family in the woods. Mother Wolf took very good care of him, like he was one of her own. It did not take long for Mowgli to become friends with all the animals in the jungle. He got to know how the jungle works and played games with his animal friends. Shere Khan, the tiger, kept searching for Mowgli because he hated humans. The wise wolf, Akela, heard that Shere Khan was looking for Mowgli. So he called a special meeting with Baloo the bear and Bagheera the panther.
"It isn't safe for Mowgli to live in this part of the jungle. I suggest you two take him to the other side of the jungle and teach him how to survive and stay hidden from Shere Khan."
The years flew by as the baby grew into a boy. Baloo the bear loved teaching Mowgli the ways of the jungle. He taught him how to look for nuts, or to climb trees, to look for honey. Mowgli learned a lot from Baloo, and each day he climbed higher and higher. Eventually, he was gathering enough food for the both of them. Baloo also taught him how to understand the sounds of the jungle, and was proud of his student. Mowgli could run very fast and swim very well. Bagheera was wise and taught him how to identify dangers. So Mowgli became clever and aware of man's traps or dangers from other animals. One day, a cub wolf ran and fell into one of these traps. Shere Khan the tiger heard the cub and came after him, ready for lunch. But Mowgli heard the cub too, and quickly saved the cub from the trap before Shere Khan could get him. Shere Khan recognized the boy that he had missed years ago and was angry. Baloo taught Mowgli the jungle code words in case he was ever in danger. Mowgli learned these words by heart, even though he thought he would never be in trouble. Mowgli was confident that he could avoid danger from any animal in the jungle. Meanwhile, the clever Shere Khan made a plan to catch Mowgli, but he knew he could not do it when he had a bear and panther protecting him. So he went to the Banderlogs.
"So what do you think?" "Ah, brilliant! Let's capture the man cub and make him teach us everything he knows so we can rule the jungle!"
So they spied on Mowgli, who was stacking some wood to make a little shelter. They waited and waited, making sure that Baloo and Bagheera were not around. Just as the sun started to go down, the two strongest Banderlogs carried Mowgli, tied up in the middle of the meanest of the Banderlogs, and he started to figure out how to escape. After a while, he saw a vulture flying up above the sky. He remembered the magic words Baloo taught him.
"We are family, you and I. I am Mowgli."
Hearing these words, Chill the vulture immediately realized that Mowgli wasn't a stranger and that he was in trouble.
"Please help. Tell Baloo and Bagheera that I am kidnapped."
"Of course I will, Mowgli,"
answered Chill the vulture, and he flew off to deliver the message to Mowgli's friends. The Banderlogs brought Mowgli to their city, deep in the jungle, It was a giant temple that humans had built and abandoned a long time ago. Mowgli struggled to get free, but there were so many Banderlogs that he could never get very far before they grabbed him. When Baloo and Bagheera found out that Mowgli was kidnapped, they came to help. They asked Kaa, the giant snake, for help to save Mowgli. And they all came to the monkey town. They sneaked up behind a giant statue. And then they saw Mowgli surrounded by hundreds of Banderlogs. They started to wait for the perfect moment to take Mowgli out of there. At the right moment, Kaa said,
"Now is the right time. Let's go."
Bagheera silently crept towards the monkeys and then leapt into them, throwing them everywhere. He punched one with his powerful claws. Mowgli was so happy to see Bagheera. Banderlogs were shocked and ran around screaming with fear. Monkeys came from every direction and surrounded Bagheera. Two of them snatched Mowgli and forced him into a room in the ruins. Mowgli could hear Bagheera fighting with the monkeys outside. He couldn't escape, but he wanted to help. He remembered that monkeys were afraid of water and yelled through the wall,
Bagheera, run and jump in the well.
Bagheera ran and jumped straight into the water. Baloo came to help, but was quickly surrounded by monkeys. They jumped at him and attacked him with their claws, and Baloo threw them off of him and did his best to fight back. But there were too many Banderlogs to fight by himself. And Bagheera saw him, but was trapped in the water to get away from the Banderlogs. Just as Baloo was about to be overcome and defeated by the monkeys, Kaa, the great snake, came to help. He smacked the monkeys with his giant tail, and the monkeys scattered in fear. They had always been afraid of Kaa. They knew they couldn't win against the great snake, so they started to run away into the jungle. Kaa opened his mouth and blew out his poisonous venom gas that paralyzed all the monkeys, and they were frozen still. The loud monkey yells finally went quiet.
Mowgli!
Mowgli yelled through a hole in the wall.
I'm here, trapped in the tower.
Kaa swung his mighty tail and managed to break the walls of the tower. Freed from his prison, Mowgli leapt out to his friends. Baloo gave him a huge bear hug.
Mowgli.
You guys saved me. I was so scared. You risked your lives. Thank you so much for coming after me.
Mowgli was also very happy to see the great snake on his side.
I love you guys. Thank you so much, Kaa.
Mowgli, Baloo, and Bagheera said goodbye to Kaa and headed home. Shere Khan watched everything and realized that his plan had failed. He knew that as long as Mowgli and his friends stuck together, he could never win. Defeated, he decided it would be best if he left their jungle forever. Mowgli had many other adventures, and when he grew into a young man, he took a long trip to the humans' village, and there was a woman who recognized him. She realized that it was her son, who had been taken by Shere Khan long ago. She showed Mowgli her youngest son. Mowgli was surprised because the little boy's face looked just like he did when he was little. He realized that this little boy was his brother, and the lady was his mother. Baloo, Bagheera, and Kaa were all watching
From now
across the
on,
road.
you'll be with your real family, Mowgli.
Whenever you need us. You know the special jungle code words.
You are our brother. Don't forget how much we love you, dear Mowgli.
Mowgli loved his jungle family.
Goodbye, dear Mowgli.
He lived happily ever after with his human family. But never did he forget his good friends in the jungle.
In a forest lived a rather rickety mouse. He was so afraid of the fox, the wolf, and even himself for that matter, that if the wind blew and a branch cracked, he looked around for a hole he could hide in. Because of this, all the little animals made fun of him. How scared is he?
You're even scared of the wind.
You're so scared.
You're so scared. You're so scared.
One day, the mouse got his act together and went over to see the king of the jungle, the lion. The lion had just finished having his lunch. He was taking a nap in front of the cave. The mouse's friends were all curious as to what the mouse had planned. The mouse started to climb up the lion's tail. He got up on the lion's back. With a very confident look on his face, he posed to his friends. Although he was very scared, he was doing everything in his hand not to make it obvious. Right at that moment, the lion woke up. And as he shook his fur, the mouse fell off. The mouse and the lion came eye to eye. All the other animals were worried.
Oh no, the lion will swallow the mouse. What nerve, what courage. What are you doing on my back?
King out the jungle. Please don't eat me. I'm the most scared and the most vulnerable of them all. My life passes on by shaking with fear. If a leaf falls off of the tree, I'm scared. I'm fed up with this. I want to get rid of this fear. You're the king of the jungle. With just one big roar, the animals fear you. Would you consider taking me into your custody?
The lion listened to the mouse in silence. The mouse was wondering what his reply was going to be.
And why should I help you? Give me one good reason as to why I shouldn't eat you.
Your help will be returned, I promise. Maybe one day I will help you.
As soon as the mouse finished what he had to say, the lion roared in such a way.
How can such a tiny mouse as yourself be of any help to me?
But seeing the tiny mouse shaking in front of him, the lion decided not to eat him.
Thank God I am full. Now get out of my sight.
The mouse ran and got away from there. Watching all that was happening from afar, the friends of the mouse were really surprised. Some time had passed by, the lion got hungry and started wandering around in the forest. But he could not notice the hunter's trap and got caught. He was hung in the air in a big net. He tried to break free from the net, but he could not do it. He was the king of the forest, so if he could yell for help, he would be humiliated, and all the hunters would hear him and come to get him faster. Being out of options, he began to wait. Meanwhile, the other animals living in the forest noticed the lion. But nobody could dare get close to him. When he was passing by, Little Mouse saw the lion, and he decided to help him. He went directly next to him. He started to climb the lion's long tail, and when he reached the net, he began to chew on it. At that moment, the bunny came running next to them.
Hey, buddy, hurry up. The hunters are coming.
The other animals who were gathered around suddenly started to run around when they heard the word hunter. But the mouse kept on chewing with persistence. In the end, the net was torn apart and the lion fell down and got away.
Come on, jump on my back. Let's get out of here.
The mouse jumped on the lion's back and they got away from there. All breathless, the lion arrived in front of his cave. He kneeled down and the mouse jumped off.
When you told me that one day you might be able to help me, I underestimated you. I thought you were a tiny mouse with no use at all. But you saved my life. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, my king.
You don't have to be afraid of me anymore. In fact, you do not need to fear anything because you're a very courageous mouse. If I am the king of the jungle, from now on, you are my courageous prince.
Lion and the mouse began to laugh. All the animals watching all that was happening from afar came out and applauded the courageous mouse. The lion and the mouse became best friends and the forest lived in peace forever. In a forest lived a rabbit. Wandering all day long, all he did was jump up and admire himself. He loved talking about how much faster he was than the other animals.
I'm the fastest animal in the forest. Would anyone like to race with me?
He sure did run fast with his very big feet. The other animals hated the way he would show off. In saying that, they never ever won a race.
Yes, I win again. Why? Because I'm fast.
Everywhere he went, he would say, "I'm so fast, no one could ever pass me." His words had begun to disturb all the other animals in the forest.
Okay, he might be the fastest, but the fact that he says and shows off about it's not nice.
Someone should teach my lesson to smarten up.
All that was said amongst all the animals in the forest managed to go to the turtle. The turtle walked very slow. It would take him a day to reach the distance the rabbit could make in a minute. The turtle wished he would come across the rabbit one of these days. He went to the other animals and told them that he would like to race with the rabbit.
You want to race him? Not even the fastest animals have won against the rabbit. How can you? You leave that part up to me.
The turtle went next to the rabbit.
Good day, Mr. Rabbit. I have been searching for you.
Curiously, the rabbit asked,
And why might you be looking for me?
I hear that you are the fastest animal in the forest. Well, actually, that's what you think. But to be sure, I would like to race with you. Let's see who is faster.
As soon as the turtle had finished what he had to say, the rabbit began to laugh so hard that all the other animals in the forest heard him.
You? With me? A race? Are you joking me? It's impossible for you to pass me. By the time you take a step, I will finish the race.
Well, unless we race, we will never know, will we?
Okay, be ready then. Tomorrow morning we race.
As the turtle began walking away, the rabbit continued on laughing. The following morning, the animals arrived at the racecourse. They noticed the turtle waiting at the starting line, all ready to go. Very sure of himself, the turtle was smiling.
Please tell me how you're going to beat the rabbit. If he really is so proud and the big show-off, as you all say he is, then this race isn't going to be hard at all.
Soon after, with his very stuck-up attitude, holding a carrot, the rabbit arrived at the racecourse.
Let's race and finish this. I still haven't had breakfast.
Finishing their last preparations, they arrived at the starting point.
The first one that arrives at the red line at the end of the forest wins.
With the mark of the mole, the race started. Just like an arrow, the rabbit flew by. The turtle, on the other hand, began to walk slowly. Whoa! The rabbit was nowhere to be seen. The animals watching the race thought that the turtle was going to get beaten. After running a while, the rabbit stopped and had a look behind him. There was nothing to be seen.
By the looks of it, the turtle will finish the race tonight. I better sit and finish my carrot.
The rabbit finished eating his carrot, looked up the road, and from afar he saw the turtle coming. With a cheeky grin, he stood up and continued on running. The rabbit had nearly reached the finishing point.
I'm a bit sleepy after breakfast. I might sit under this tree and take a nap.
As confident as he was about winning the race, the rabbit drifted off to sleep. The turtle continued on walking very, very slowly, but with great confidence. At last, he arrived next to the rabbit. He saw that the rabbit was in a deep sleep. Without stopping, he continued on his way. A while later, the rabbit woke up. When he looked and could not see the turtle...
The turtle is nowhere to be seen. Maybe he doesn't want to race anymore. I should finish my race now.
As the rabbit was slowly making his way to the finishing point, what does he see? The turtle had passed him. In fact, he was about to finish the race. Using all the energy he had left over, he tried to pass the turtle. But the turtle had already finished the race. Some of the animals waiting at the finish line were extremely happy. All the animals were throwing the turtle up in the air with great excitement, while the rabbit stood in the corner with great sadness. Turtle, the winner of the race, walked towards the rabbit.
Mr. Rabbit, the important thing is being consistent about everything that you do. To brag with nonsense and love yourself is weakness. I beat you not because I was faster, but I was wiser and did what I did seriously.
You're right. From now on, I will stop bragging about being the fastest amongst everyone.
I should return now. My home is a long journey away.
The turtle smiled and continued on his way. The rabbit learnt a good lesson and noticed his mistake. After that day on, he never ever bragged about himself, nor did he ever race again.